Hi, Serena here from Cowichy Creek Nursery. Today we're in my yard and I'm going to show you how to plant a rose. I have an area that I started planting last early summer that I put along my driveway, a whole row of roses, and I'm adding to that. I did a lot of roses last year and I'm going to just keep adding, but I have a spot here at the end. I spaced them out and then I added a plant at the end, so I ended up with a spot that wasn't maybe quite big enough for a regular hybrid tea. Then I came across the Distant Drums rose. You can see it blooming here. Nice picture. It's a little bit windy out, so this will probably blow away. I'm going to keep that. But this one stays a little bit smaller. So I have a perennial hibiscus on this side and a rose on this side that I just planted earlier this spring. So to prepare, I dug my hole and I took the dirt out and I did mix that with some compost. If you can see that there, that's our organic compost. And I am going to add some of this Espoma Rose Tone. It doesn't take a lot. Let me just put a little bit in the bottom there. I'll mix that in when I get ready to fill the hole back in. Okay. So when we do our roses start out bare root and we get them in and we pot them up in these peat pots. The reason we don't put them in plastic is because the wonderful thing about the peat is it does rot off. So in the earlier part of the summer or spring, when these are just barely rooted, but you've got those new fresh little roots that you don't want to break off, you can plant this directly in the ground. I'm not going to today because I have an irrigation pipe running along the bottom of my hole and I can't dig it any deeper. So I am going to take the pot off and very carefully remove some of the bottom soil without damaging the roots so that it gets planted deep enough. But I am going to show you what you would do if you were going to plant this directly in the ground. So you're going to make slits along the sides. And this takes a few tries here. You're going to do this like every, 5 inches around the outside, all the way around. And then you would be coming down here and cutting up the bottom, maybe an X or a few slits down there. You can remove the rim. However, on most roses that are grafted, as this one here is, this should be planted 1 to 2 inches below ground level. So if you actually do that, the rim isn't even going to show. And even if it does, it'll rot off. But you're welcome to cut that off. It's a lot of work to get that cut off. So I tend to just leave it. But today, and then you would actually just put that down in there and plant it. But today I'm going to actually remove it. So we're going to do that. I like to turn it on its side. Be careful not to break the rose. And I just gently press to loosen it up. And I am going to very carefully, I'm going to start pushing down here and starting to tip it. Okay. So I did break a branch off. I'm just going to remove a little bit of this soil. I do not really want to disturb the roots on this that much. I just want to remove a little bit of this so that I can get this planted deep enough. Okay, so now I'm going to mix this in. And I previously mixed in the compost with the shovel, so I'll just sort of mix that in a little bit, the rose tone. And I'm going to fill this in. And so what I like to do is, even though my roses are on drip, when you first plant something, you want to water it in well. So instead of just assuming the drip's going to take care of it, get it pressed in there. You're welcome to stand up and walk along this outside, being careful not to break the branches. But I'm going to leave it like that, but then I am going to create a moat. So basically, this level that I have right here is lower than it's going to actually be because I'm basically digging it out to create the moat. Once my rose is a little more established, I'll come in and take a garden rake and smooth this out and make it so that this comes in pretty much from this level all the way in. but I get some of this soil over here to kind of help create that moat. Creates a bowl so that I can water it in with a hose, and then the water goes directly down onto the roots. All right, just about got it. And there you have it. My rose is planted. I'll bring the hose over, we'll water it in several times. I'll put the drip back on it. And really, even if you have drip, you do need to be careful to lay eyes on your new plantings. I like to do it every day so that if anything starts changing on it, I know immediately when that starts to happen, whether it's getting too much water or not enough. If you don't watch it, it seems like it happens overnight. The wind pops up, starts blowing, it gets too dry, you didn't check it for 3 days, and immediately it's not looking good, and it may or may not live after that. So I try to look at it every day, even if I'm just walking by. So I'll get this watered in, and I'll have a beautiful end of my rose row here, and I'll enjoy it for many years to come. Thank you.